Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
6:09. 49 degrees, rainy. Bring your galoshes. March 14th, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310, News Talk Radio, streaming live at WOBMAM.com and on the Radio Pup app, 732-505-1160. We are joined on the line now by Theresa Berger, President, CEO, Ocean Health Initiatives. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Oh, you sound like you're filled with energy too.
Bright and early.
That's great. That's great. It is early. So listen, thank you so much for joining us. Theresa, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about Ocean Health Initiatives?
Sure. So Ocean Health, or we call it OHI, we're a nonprofit in Ocean County, and we provide primary medical care services to the uninsured and the underinsured throughout Ocean. We do have some patients that come from other areas, and I guess I'm going to equate that up to our good reputation.
So you're saying that so wait, you said you get from other areas. Those are uninsured from other areas that come to you?
Yeah, they come to us for the medical care. So there are about 23 FQHCs, which is what we are in the state. I mean, there are many, many more across the whole country. But we do have people that come from other counties, or even we have some patients that come out from New York, and they are our patients of OHI.
Okay. And so you are in Lakewood, Manahawkin, Manchester, Toms River, and then you have like some school-based stuff, and you have the mobile medical. I mean, you got a pretty comprehensive organization going on over there.
Yeah, we have. Actually, we're just in the process of building another site in Little Lake Harbor. So we cover the whole county. Okay.
And so where do you get your financing from? Is it state aid? Is it federal aid? Is it fundraising? What's the mix look like?
So that's like a smattering of all of what you mentioned, including we do have patients who are Medicare or Medicaid.
Okay.
And so we do bill for those services. We do have charity care patients or no-pay patients, so we do receive a small copay from them. We do have monies that come in from the state, from the federal government. We have a grant. We do receive some private grants as well from other organizations. And we do some fundraising. So that's all of what we do for payment.
Okay. So talk to me. I'm always interested in you have a school-based wellness program. What is that all about?
So we actually have two, and they're both very distinct. We have one at the Clifton Street School, which is for, young kids, usually colds, or, a parent is not sure if they should bring the child into the school because they're coughing, sneezing, have a rash. So we'll see them for that. The high school is a little bit different. We're just dealing with the whole, the whole mindset is different. So the kids, we also need permission from the parents, but it's almost like a safe haven for the students. They can come in and have conversations with the social worker, with the doctor, and we found that they're really getting nice relationships with the students.
Okay, so I would imagine now that with with Obamacare having fixed our health issues here in the country, that you've actually seen a huge downtick in folks coming to you, right?
No.
Really?
So, yeah, well, because we have a very large Medicaid population. So before Obamacare, I'm going to say we were about 62 to 64% Medicaid. Now we're up to, I'm going to say about 75, maybe to 78%. So, I mean, what's good about ACA is that people went from having no insurance to a type of insurance, which the primary care wasn't the issue. It's really the secondary care or these specialty services.
Right.
So there was no place to send them because they had to pay cash.
Gotcha. By the way, when you say about 62%, Like that doesn't sound like, I always think when you're estimating, it's like a round number. When you say about 62%, you're pretty spot on, right? You have a pretty good feel for that number.
I do.
Okay, good. I just wanted to clear it up. It's just a point of semantics for me. I feel better now though that we're on the same page. So you're saying that actually you are saying that with Obamacare though you've actually seen a higher percentage of Medicare folks, but some of those other folks you are actually being serviced in maybe in a different way. But you wouldn't have been impacted as much anyway because typically is it like I'm sorry, I'm not 100% like on understanding the concept. Is it kind of like what separates you from like a Medi-Merge?
Oh, a lot of things. So let me just back up for a second.
Okay.
So the patients that were, let's say the Medicaid population, that population has increased for me.
Right.
But those are the same patients that were, I want to call a charity care patient or a self-pay patient.
Okay.
So they've stayed with us in lieu of leaving and going to a private practitioner.
Oh, got it. Okay.
That's why we still have a large population. The difference between us and a Medi-Surg is that we're much similar to a private practice. So anything that you would get in your private practice office is how we would be providing medicine to you. It's for example, pediatrics. You not only get your immunizations, but you receive all well care services. So it's a little bit different. Usually in in the clinics that they have and a Medi-Surg it's more like you get treated for what you're there for that moment.
Right.
And that's it. We really treat from zero to, I hate to say death, zero to whatever, and we provide all medical care services. Obviously not the specialty care services. Those we refer out because that's really not our scope of service, but we refer them out and then they come back.
Right. So you really deal with 0 to 100 though, because for death, you would ask them to go somewhere else, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And so you also do... you do OB, GYN, you do behavioral, you do it all, huh? What does a staff look like? What size staff do you have like in one of your locations?
Each one is different because they're all different sizes, but I would say in total we have about 200 employees.
And are they doctors on staff or are these doctors that are going to a number of different facilities?
No, all of my staff are employed by OHI.
Okay.
And that's for a couple of different reasons. One, continuity of care is a big thing. We really want our patients to see the same doctor as best as possible. We also have an electronic medical record, so it would be really difficult if it was somebody who only came sporadically to remember the medical record. So that's the other piece of it. So let's say, for example, a doc has a nurse and an MA and an RN in the building. So each provider has almost 3 people to support them.
Okay. Theresa Berger, Ocean Health Initiatives, OHI. Theresa, when we come back, because we're up against a break,
Sure.
I would like you to tell me about your career, how you ended up at Ocean Health Initiative, what your career path looked like, what that aha moment for you was when you decided that you wanted to not only get into healthcare, but get into healthcare for those that are kind of the less fortunate. And really want to dive into what you're all about, Theresa. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So we'll be right back. Theresa Berger, OHI.
Wake up with Jeremy Grunin wherever you go. Download the Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Welcome back here with Theresa Berger, President and CEO of OHI, Ocean Health Initiatives. Just in case you were wondering at home, an FQHC is a federally qualified health center. I just learned that today. Theresa, I wanted to share that with everyone.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Sometimes I throw out acronyms.
You knew what it was. You said it.
Yeah, I know. I throw out acronyms.
I know. I'm just joking around. It's
Sorry.
all good. It's all good. Don't be sorry. I love it. I'm a big acronym fan. It gives me, because what I do is I play this little like head game where I try and figure out what the letters all mean, and then I see how close I get. And like in this particular case, I got the word center correct. Everything else was just not even close. Anyway, Theresa, CEO and president of OHI. Tell us how long you've been at OHI.
So I've been with OHI from inception, which is 2003.
Okay. Is that your final answer, 2003?
2003. Did I mention it was early in the morning?
You may have mentioned that. You have this whole thing going on where you seem like you're wide awake and you're full of energy, and then you fall back on the it's early in the morning thing. You can't have it both ways, Theresa. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the world revolves around me. So
okay, got it. All right. No problem. I'm with you. I get it. 13 years. That's a long time. So what'd you do before OHI?
So before OHI was who it is, it was the clinic for one of the Barnabas health hospitals. So it was Kimball's clinic at the time, and so I ran that. I was the practice director for the site. I had a medical background. I went to medical school, and I was in the process of taking my exams, and so I just, wanted a job in the interim, and that's what I started to do. And then the hospital, they wanted to spin it off, so to speak. It was losing a lot of money. There was not a lot of funding for it, and so this route has grant funds through the federal government, and so they decided to apply for those grant funds, and they were approved. And so we went from, losing a couple of million to really break even almost immediately, just due to the difference in the focus of how you provide service and just the reimbursement side. I mean, the hospital has more limitations or had more limitations than the health center did. So it was it was a great transition. And it was really great for the community because we were, at the time, they were decreasing services, and here we were able to increase services.
Right. And so what were you going to medical school for? What kind of doctor did you want to? What was your plan? Because the plan wasn't to run this kind of a center, right?
Correct. The plan was to deal with as much blood and gore as possible.
Nice. Nice. So what type of medicine were you thinking? I mean, when you went to medical school, what did you think you were going to end up doing?
Working in the ED.
Okay.
And the trauma center is really what I wanted.
Okay. And then this was it just that this seemed like it had more impact for you? What was the aha moment that said, I think I want to get into, making a difference at this level?
So once I started working for Kimball and running their clinic, I just saw a different focus. The people were, I went to school in Mexico, so I did deal with, monolingual and bilingual populations, but it was just very different. You don't realize that the disparities, or I didn't, are everywhere. They're not just in, a foreign country. And so running the site for the hospital, it really, it brought me back home almost. I felt like I didn't leave, and I was really happy when I was in medical school because you made a difference down there.
Right.
And so I was really happy about what I was doing. I truly never expected it to expand to the level that it has. I could honestly say I love my job.
Well, that's great. It's a very different mindset, though. I think, my wife is a nurse, and it's a very different mindset from going from kind of the one-on-one care of being a doctor or a nurse to kind of running an organization. So it's an interesting leap to me always because, like I said, it's such a different skill set and mindset. But you see it just as having an opportunity to positively impact more folks, and that's great.
Oh, absolutely. And the other part of it is I like problem solving. So when there are issues, it's like I get to be the one to solve the problem or try to, and then somebody else has to do it.
Awesome. Theresa, when we come back, I would like you to talk to me about what programs you have upcoming that people should pay attention to at OHI. I'd like for you to talk to me about what you would do with a magic wand that can make a positive impact on the community. And most importantly, Theresa, now that I know that you went to school in Mexico, I want you to help me and Donald Trump figure out how to raise $10 billion from the Mexican government to build a wall, okay? All right, we'll be back with Theresa Berger from OHI right after the break.
Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 6:34, March 14th, 49 degrees, getting all the way up to 49 degrees. It is rainy, it's wet, it's windy, but it's not snowing here at WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 News Talk Radio. Streaming live at WOBMAM.com and on the Radio Pup app, 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. Right now, we are talking to Theresa Berger, President and CEO, OHI, Ocean Health Initiatives. How you doing, Theresa? You still okay?
I'm doing great.
Oh, good, good. All right. So, what kind of any events coming up? Anything we should know about? Any kind of seminars, et cetera, that you want to talk about with OHI?
Actually, we do a whole slew of events from March through September. But I also have with me today my Vice President of Operations, and I think he could talk about some of the events, if you don't mind.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, sure. Hold on.
Hi, Jeremy. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. This is Warren, right?
Warren Sherrard, yes.
Warren, how are you?
Great, thank you.
Oh, good. So talk to us. What's going on at OHI?
So throughout the summer, we plan a number of community events. We also have one of the major ones is Health Center Week, which takes place in the summer, I think in August. And that's celebrated by all the health centers throughout New Jersey. We get together and we highlight some of the programs that the FQHCs run, as well as do a number of health screenings. We also do a lot of community outreach throughout the summer. We have an MMU, a mobile medical unit, which we take to different sites and do free health screenings for folks and just make people aware of primary health care in the state.
That's great. That's great. So, and FQHC again is?
Federally Qualified Health Center.
Oh, right, totally. And so that's pretty cool. So yesterday, you guys had the outreach and enrollment team at the Smart Living Expo, right?
Correct. And so they do a number of things. They talk about the programs that we run at Ocean Health Initiatives. They also will help people make decisions regarding their health insurance. With the advent of the Affordable Care Act, a lot of folks have had difficulty navigating the market and getting enrolled and have many questions about the different programs. And so while we don't advocate any specific insurance company or anything like that, we do try to give people information to help them make decisions in that regard.
Okay. Very cool. So, okay. So anything else that you wanted to kind of talk to us about at OHI that you want to make our listeners aware of, or is that going to cover it for the moment?
So, I mean, I think that's it. I just to underscore that the federally qualified health centers are really a one-stop shopping for health care for folks. When you talk about the difference between an urgent care center and a federally qualified health center, we cover every aspect, and we're under mandates by the federal government and the state government to not just treat illness, but actually to help people prevent illness. So we focus on, for instance, getting people's blood pressure under control, getting people's A1C levels under control, those with diabetes or hypertension. So it's not just about putting Band-Aids on injuries. It's really about trying to prevent and control disease and illness. Okay,
great. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Warren. It was very informative, and you really dropped some knowledge on the listeners. I appreciate that.
Thanks. My pleasure.
Theresa.
Yes, sir.
Are you guys at work?
Not right now, no.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, wow, it's like super early. Congratulations. All right. So Theresa, since you're probably not going to help me solve this $10 billion wall issue, How about instead you talk to me about what you would do if you had a magic wand and had the ability to kind of positively impact one thing in the world of healthcare and the world of in the world that you deal in every day.
That's a loaded question.
Okay.
It is a huge question. I think what's really most important is that everybody should have health care. It shouldn't cost as much as it currently does. Children should not have to, parents should not have to worry about, should I feed my child or get the immunization or get the dental care service? I really think that it's all encompassing. They should be able to feed their child, house their child, clothe their child, and make sure that their teeth are healthy. So I think as a country and as we really need to strive to ensure that those services will and should continue to occur. For me, like I said, I love my job. It's an absolute passion. Every once in a while you get a little child that looks up or you get an adult that calls in and says thank you. And that's really what keeps you going. And I think the other thing is to look at, like, my staff. There are some staff that we have that were patients at one time that are now staff, and they've grown within the organization to substantial positions. And so I just think we have to look at it as an all-inclusive thing. It's not just healthcare, but it's really a way of life.
Right. Okay. Listen, and I think you'd be hard pressed for anybody to disagree with you about the cost of healthcare and the fact that it should be one of our inalienable rights. I guess the question always is, does that mean at the expense of 60% taxation for all, or what do the finances look like for that? But it's that, and that's the tricky question that we seem to deal with year after year, right?
Yeah, I don't have that answer.
No. So you couldn't help me with the wall. You can't help me with how to get health care for everyone. Theresa, I mean, all I really get from you is the fact that you're keeping our community healthy, which I guess I'm going to have to be okay with.
Please be okay with that.
We're okay with that. Theresa, where could folks go to learn more about OHI?
So we have a website, www.ohinj.org, or we have a call center at 732-363-6655. And we're usually all over the newspapers, Latinos Unidos, or just come to our main site at 101 2nd Street and inquire.
Awesome. You know what? All kidding aside, you guys do fantastic work in the community. It's certainly a service that is super necessary. And not only are you doing the good work, but you're doing it at a high level. So thank you so much for all that you and Warren and the rest of your staff do every day for the communities here in Ocean County.
Thank you. Thank you for the acknowledgement. Right. We really appreciate it.
Cool. Theresa Berger, President and CEO, OHI, Ocean Health Initiative. We'll be back right after this.